We're going to try it. Ladies and gents, welcome to the second decider in Titans League Silver. The winner of this best of 5 will move into gold. Gold and platinum will be happening in January and February of 2023. Once again, thanks for the love. Thanks for the comments. Thanks for the likes and support and the views on the Extras channel. We may even see this game or other games on the main channel, because what I do is I send the best individual games to the main channel all the time, or like the late stages of the big events. We've got Derp, a player who should be described as a more well-rounded player than Beery. I think that is not offensive to Beery at all. It's not taking anything away from Beery. Derp is a player who's on the CL team, so most people think Clown Legion. They think he's only good on Arena. But if you go all the way back to my predictions, I talked about the guy, and I said he's really good on all settings. He is good on closed maps, but he's good on open maps as well. He's one of the fastest players you'll see in CL, actually, if not the fastest. And I think he's got potential. This is a player from the Netherlands playing in our teal here. We're going to stick with his color. He likes to pick that a lot. And then in the orange, we have a player who is just Mr. Commitment, man. Like, when you watch Beery, he's always doing something wacky but aggressive. And I think that is a compliment to him. He doesn't always play with the balance that you tend to see at higher level, like other higher level players play with. But his aggression and his commitment to whatever strategy that he chooses, and ultimately this is a strategy game, gets him wins before some of those other things matter. And the other thing about Beery is he's got a little bit of a swagger to him. Like, I don't know how to describe his personality, but I'll just tell you a little conversation I had with him. So I made a video with Beery where he was labeled the most annoying player of 2022. He frequently Vil rushes and does all this random crap on Arabia that everyone hates, right? And so going into this, a lot of people thought, like, okay, if he can't play with those 2 or 3 civs and he can't play Arabia, he's going to have massive problems. And so I was in a Twitch chat like 2 weeks ago or whatever. I think it was watching Heart play or something. And Beery was in there. And, I said, good luck, like, good results, blah, blah, blah. And then someone said something along the lines of, like, Beery's going to struggle in later rounds. And Beery said, well, I'm not doing too bad for a guy who can only play 2 civilizations and who can only play Arabia because I haven't lost a game yet. And so, like, that mentality is, like, I like that, you know? And it's true. So, anyways, that's kind of my introduction to this series. I do think it's going to be a close series. Lithuanians can offer a little bit more versatility than the Huns in their Dark Age. And we've actually seen Derp go for a dock here. And so he's going to go for the rare fishing play on Jungle Swamp. Something we've seen before, but something that is definitely not meta. You see it less frequently than a lot of other things, like namely scout builds. So I'm sure we're probably still going to see scouts from Derp, but adding a few fishing ships on top of the fact he started with extra food in the bank is obviously a really helpful addition. All that said, obviously this would be super annoying if this scout sits next to the fishing ship for the rest of the game. So we shall see. So I hope those introductions were fair to the players. But yeah, like, the other thing I should say about Beery is that he's been practicing with Sebastian. And if I were to make a video right now on, like, the most improved players of 2022, Sebastian's in the top 2 in my mind. Like, I think it's Sebastian and Kingston are, like, probably number 1 and number 2 there. As they both played in Gold Season 1, and they're going to be in Platinum because they played so freaking well. And Sebastian's like a super motivated player who's been getting great tourney results, and I feel like that's a great player to train with. So I don't know who Derp has actually been training with, but if he were to train, like, let's say with a lot of his Clown Legion teammates, it might not give as much practice as maybe training with Sebastian. Obviously, small shout out to Draken, who is a Clown Legion player who will also be in Platinum this season. Draken was an absolute beast in Season 1. So maybe that's been who he's practicing with. I don't know. But this is going to be a competitive best of 5. So Beery's a confident bloke, as many viewers may say. I can't say bloke and have people take it seriously, but I like to mix it in every now and then. Derp, probably the more well-rounded player from map to map. Already, though, you can see Beery patrolling around, looking for where he can do damage. His scout is one of the most terrifying scouts to have at your base. I played him a million times on ladder. You just know he's always looking at you, and he makes you he makes that obvious too. Like, you see this? You see the difference? You see how Derp's like, okay, I'll eventually find that. That's kind of me. But Beery knows what he needs to kill, and he knows where he needs to go already. He's looked at everything. And now he even sees these villagers here. Where can I drop this petition to make the Dutch player Derp be shown in orange? You can drop it right there, and I'm going to decline it because Derp always picks this color. There's not too many players who like to play with the color. Like Viper, for example, always plays with... He likes to play with yellow. Derp likes to play with teal, and then Beery likes to play with orange. But Beery, it's like the classic, I'm going to make myself orange and then turn team colors on. And I'm going to turn team colors on so it's easier for me to see things on the map. And then if they don't turn off team colors because they want their color, they're going to struggle to see me on the map. So I think Backed has been known for that as well. Anyways, here's a stable here from Derp. And that's going to be scouted by Beery. And this is going to be Scout and Spearman. Now, there's still fishing ships working, right? And you started with 150 extra food. So this is most definitely a situation where Beery needs to get some early damage in. Whether that be in Feudal Age or Castle Age, it has to happen here. Interesting how Derp is choosing to wall. You can tell he wants to eventually wall in the back of his base towards the edge of the map. But he's kind of making houses in a little ring around the circle here. I don't hate it, but obviously you could over-chop that eventually, so it's something to keep an eye on. And look at this attack here from Beery. Game 1, right? He's trying to do all the fancy little things. He's attacking here. He attacked at the exact same time. And Derp with the quick walls! You don't find that from most clown players. Look at that! Holy crap, man! Sheesh. All right, what a save. That would have been a dead villager. Obviously, would have been an awkward start for him, but... that villager can go back to work and stay alive for the rest of the game. Impressive. Still nothing to contest the middle. Derp, by the way, was one of the... he wasn't the ones that started the quick walling, but he had actually made a couple clips and videos, like last year or the year before, on how to properly wall in enemy villagers, which you see from time to time. And players use that technique to wall in their own villagers, too. Yeah, so we saw a couple spearmen in this area, but we're not seeing the rest of them just yet from Beery. He's concerned because he doesn't see Derp's scout. So I think he's probably going to leave some spearmen at home. Actually, as I say that, no, he's not. And oh my god, he's in! Oh my god, I'll have to rewind this. Disaster for Derp here, and it's just non-stop pressure from the Argentinian. Still, though, he's not really finding the kills that he wants, so he needs to back away from this. And so, 0 kills, 0 deaths. Again, I might need to rewatch that, but I guess since there was no damage, we'll just continue up with the pace of the game. 6 spearmen from Beery. And thank you guys for obliging, and thank you for letting me use the orange here. I know it's kind of hard to see, but I feel like it's so rare that we have players that have these colors against each other. I like to mix it up every now and then instead of every series being red and blue, at least for, you know, today. We've got Archer follow-up coming from Beery already. Like, he's got Archer follow-up, but he doesn't have anything at home, and he's probably thinking, where are those scouts at? And Derp has defended so nicely here. Let's see if Beery can quick wall. I almost feel like it's not worth it, right? Because if you quick wall one in, more are going to die, so he chooses to fight. And this should be amazing for Derp. He's going to love life. Meanwhile, Spearman v Spearman over here. And this is quite a few villager kills, and this is precisely what Derp would have wanted. He only killed 2, so maybe he would have wished for more there. But he got some good pokey pokes over here in the Spearman battle. And he's going to find another villager here. So he's been working with the 4 fishing ship advantage. And now he's gotten some nice kills there. Very well played from Derp. Obviously, what Beery's going to want, though, is he's going to want his ranges to send the archers forward so these spearmen aren't as much of an issue. And Beery still has 5 scouts on the map. So Beery actually has the better potential to get more kills here in the near future. We see a tower from Derp as he's going to go for more wood. We might even see another stable from him, but he's going to add skirms. He saw the archers, remember. And he's now going to make a demo, but he did lose 1 fishing ship there as the spearmen are just being lured away. That's a lot of spearmen to leave your base with, but I guess that's not too bad if you kill all of Beery's spearmen in the process. Would love to see a demo shot here. That tower is so well placed from Derp. It just makes things a little bit more questionable for Beery every time he goes into an engagement. And is this something that Beery's going to expect? Oh, no way! You don't want to be right next to the dock, Beery! Yikes! Great move there from Derp. That was so well played. You do have to question Beery staying in there, but he has other things to worry about as he pulled his archers this way for the spearmen. And now the scouts aren't an issue, and this becomes hugely problematic for him, because if he had the scouts, he could deal with the skirms. But now your opponent's skirmishers are going to be able to dominate your spearmen and your archers. Resources are looking good for Beery. He is known for not necessarily finishing off the game in feudal, but getting faster castle ages and winning games there. So that's definitely something you've got to keep in the back of your mind if you're Derp, as he's going to find most likely another villager kill. He could actually kill this villager as well if he blocks properly. I think that villager also had food in her hands. I think it was 35 food because they were coming back from the deer. And here comes a sneaky little force to this side. Something that Derp should be able to defend from. It's just a matter of how much he needs to make, how many upgrades he needs to research, etc. I'm not sure where these vills are going, though. I don't know. Maybe he had miscontrolled them. I thought he would send it back to the gold. It's possible he didn't want to send it to the gold because the skirms weren't there yet. Also possible he was looking at that, but that's good from Beery. He finally gets some villager kills that he's been waiting for. And now he's going to click up to Castle Age, and Beery's going to be making knights, most likely. Now, this army, its existence, forced Derp to get fletching and make that number of skirms. How many is he actually going to make, though? And is he going to have a good Castle Age time? You'll see the market now. It feels like he doesn't need that market. It feels like he could cancel these two vills and click up right now. But it's easy for us to look at those details, whereas he's making army, looking for army, and prepping the rest of the game. And these archers now, just sitting in the corner. You don't necessarily want to move out with trash units, but sometimes you feel like I need to do something. And something Beery does very frequently is he'll add additional scouts just to see what his opponent's up to, which I think is an underrated move in general. And it's just one stable at home right now for Beery. And like he's not going to have a lot of food eco either. He's only has 8 farms and he's about to run out of berries there. This is actually going to be an amazing find. But what this should lead to Beery doing is sending the archers in the left corner into the base of his opponent. Because if the skirms come forward, you know they're not at home. We'll see if he does that. Really awkward to have the spearman here too, because you can't use the scout there. This is so well played from Derp, who is a minute behind a Castle Age. Maybe this army will move in once upgrades come in. That would get the most value from it, right? Shivam, hello. Yeah, Marcus, it is possible that maybe Derp wanted to trap the archers. Derp's had fishing ships. He finds this group of archers now, the fast-moving skirms, chasing this down. Very good micro. Like, it makes it look easy. Granted, he is Lithuanian, so that's always a possibility. This army's moving in. I'll keep an eye on that, as the spearmen now need to catch up to the skirms here. The scouts are moving in from Beery. He's going to lose one of them, but now the crossbows can move forward. The fishing ships ran out of jobs here. They've got no food to bring in anymore. As we have +2 armor now coming in. This is sadly the worst spot for Beery to show up to, but he's going to get value from it. And it's not something that Derp has noticed, and Beery unlucky not to kill another vill there. What's happening? And clearly he's distracted at the moment. He doesn't see this, and Beery's probably like, oh, okay. All right, I'm just going to, like, pick this off until he notices, and now he notices. These crossbows still looking for damage. I'm not sure what the long-term army is for Beery, though. He's not making cav archers. He's not making monks. He stopped making knights. Looks like he's expecting knights, so he will go for monks. But at the very least, it's good that he got some value there, right? He did get some decent kills. And he will actually be able to kill the knight there, too, which is super nice. In the end, though, I would expect Derp to be able to clear up all the crossbowmen. And Beery now is just going to be as annoying as possible as he sends knights in over here. And I think this is where he just goes for vill kills, but no upgrades on these knights. Like, this shouldn't be a very successful moment for him. He probably feels like he's behind, so he says, why not just kill villagers? There's no monks yet because the monastery's not completed. And he will actually have his own monks at home. But really makes you think, like, how good is the economy realistically going to be here if you've got strong knights in the long term from Lithuanians running through. But this is where it gets fascinating, because while we have 2 town centers for Derp, it's going to be 3 for Beery. And strong knights don't make a difference if there's monks to convert them. In fact, having more upgrades on knights could actually, in theory, kind of be bad, because Beery will then get stronger units on his side if you try and run in and raid. Cleared up the skirmishers there too. Guys, what a close game this is. This is going to be an amazing series, I'm telling you. I think it might be a little early for me to say this, but I think this might actually be the best of 5 decider out of all 9 of them. We've got some great sets coming up. Later on today, we have Samara versus Hope. Can't wait to talk about those two. Czech Republic versus Vietnam. But no, I mean it when I say that. I really think that these guys are going to put on a show today. Beery had not lost a game leading up towards this. I forget who Derp beat. Derp won in a... I think he beat Stray Dog, who is a player that I had favored slightly over him. And a player who is like more... has done more in tournaments over the years too. A Chinese player. Yeah, I think he beat Stray Dog 3-2 in a series I was unable to cover because I had to go home with family and all that good stuff. But was a crazy series. Monks aren't here right now for Beery. And Derp can kind of sense this. He's like, not hearing any Wololos. But, you know, you've got some crossbows. You've got a monk here with some cav archers. This monk doesn't want to convert. He's just here to carry things. No, don't go back. You're going to donate a knight if you go back. And, wow, somehow Derp doesn't lose anything there. Meanwhile, Derp going for conversions here. He ends up getting a big kill there. He's going to have +1 attack because he got a relic. And that's why it's so important right now, I think, for Beery to get those relics, deny it from the Lithuanians. And, well, these knights will have to run away. And it's 55 eco versus 61 eco. Obviously, the fishing ships, though, are idle. And Cav Archer seems to be the long-term play here for Beery, who's now going for the 3rd archer range. Where are the other relics at right now? It's kind of hard. There's so much going on this minimap. It's very hard for me to see them. Well, there might not be many left. This is sick, man. He's got +2 armor, and he's got 3 relics. He's got 10 +3 attack before he even researches an attack upgrade. The conversions are going to matter so much for Beery. And, you know, this is why Lithuanians are seen as so strong. They have so many bonuses in every age, right? Whether it's the faster-moving skirms and spearmen from feudal age onwards, the extra food you start with in dark age, the potential knight strength in mid-game onwards. I mean... that's before you talk about the latest. That's before you talk about any of their unique technologies, which I think are more helpful than some of the Hun technologies. And yeah, I guess all relics have been collected here then, as we see Beery moving over to the right-hand side. Now, if the Cav Archers were to just be bold about this, they would find some crazy kills right here. I don't think that's what Beery wants right now. I don't think he wants to be bold. He's scared of those knights. And he should be, especially because you can't house wall. And they've got all this attack. Villagers are going to melt here. And now the Cav Archers feel the need to get some damage in. Looks like a conversion did happen. Having Bodcanero is really helpful in these instances. There's a monk that could go for another conversion. Meanwhile, the Cav Archers are here. Look at Derp. Look at him getting conversions on the Cav Archers. That's the arena style in him. But like I said, he can compete in these normal games as well. These normal fast-paced games. Big worry for him, though, would be the fact he did actually lose quite a few knights over here. And knights are more expensive than Cav Archers. We haven't really seen the knights take any trades against the CA. So maybe he's going to think about scorpions or skirmishers. Derp also not on stone yet, which I think is completely fine. And he's actually just, as I say that, going to drop a TC there. Looks like another knight got converted by that monk. So we've got 18, about to be 20 Cav Archers and 8 knights, plus a couple monks out there from Beery. And he hasn't stopped producing the monks, even though all the relics have been collected right now. This is a really good game. Oh my goodness. So yeah, Lithuanians are strong, but I think you got to start thinking about skirms at this point, which is tough to justify when you've donated so many knights. And your opponent is Huns and can make knights so freely. Gotta love this, though. The 2 Cav Archers were like, We don't have ballistics, so you're not going to get it either. We regret switching sides, but we're going to... we'll make sure you don't have ballistics. They're probably like, convert us, please. We don't like it here. We're Lithuanians. We don't feel comfortable. Please, take us back. We didn't mean to attack. It was just... we wanted to let you know we were here. The Knights didn't get the memo. 6-6 Eco KD. Thumb Ring would be awesome to see right now for these Cav Archers. Ballistics obviously will come in. That's so many Knights. 14 Knights. Cav Archers now moving in. Choke Point could also be really good for the Cav Archers in this map. Again, no ballistics. Beery will know it, so he got a little closer there so he could get the hits he wanted. And then the Knights here are getting a few kills as he just runs back home now. Could be wrong, but it kind of feels like he's missing Husbandry at the moment. It's very hard for me to tell. Might actually have it. Okay, so 10-6 now with the Eco KD. Stone count's super high for Beery. He's got 25 on stone. That's almost too much in most cases, unless he wants to drop a castle here in the middle and control the game. Ballistics on the way now. Armor's on the way. He probably has Husbandry. I think I'm wrong on that. And Pikeman now, the choice. Of course, Pikeman's still very, very vulnerable up against skirmishers. But we're not seeing skirmishers from Derp. He just wants to go all-in Knights. And who can blame him when you're Lithuanians with 3 relics? Cav Archers are on the side here. Knights are on the side, and this is going to be a great counterattack from Derp. Something Beery just did not track here. He had no clue that was coming. He doesn't have pikes there yet. He's got the Cav Archers, though. And let's see how aggressive he is. There's a lot of town centers. We actually have Bodcanero on the way for Derp, which is lovely, as that adds the range for the town centers. And this is so bad, man. You could lose your town center if you're Beery. You need more army here, and Derp chooses not to do that because of Bodcanero and because he knows army will probably arrive soon. So he runs in, but 2 Knights will get converted here. Did he get none? Wow, the RNG really not helping Beery there, and he needed those. He needed that. He needed to garrison here as well, and Beery's population is dropping like crazy. I cannot believe he didn't get conversions there. Think of the idle time for him right now. It's probably going to skyrocket on our screens for both. This TC actually got denied. This is a ridiculous game. Now, Derp has killed more villagers, but Derp's army count is still struggling because he's sacrificing Knights for this. He hasn't taken a trade against the Cav Archers. I found myself in this situation so many times over the years. Yes, you can outmaneuver the Cav Archers, but eventually you need to kill them. I don't know if it's going to be realistic to get the kills if you don't have skirmishers out. What a ridiculous game. Like, that was not a bad moment for Derp. He found some crazy kills there. 36 Cav Archers and climbing. 1,400 stone for Beery! What? I just realized that. These villagers need a new job. And are they going to stone as well? I don't know where they're going, but holy crap. Now, this TC needs to complete here for Derp. I imagine he is working on other things right now. He's got 6 town centers, about to be 7. If he could get Hillforts, that would... Is it Hillforts? Is that the name of the tech? It gives extra range to the town centers of Lithuanians. I actually think Hillforts would be epic here. But he needs to complete his castle! Oh, God! And I think Derp sees the villagers from Beery. That TC completes. The villagers are now making a run for it. The Cav Archers are here. You've got Knights under here, and Beery doesn't realize this. Beery doesn't realize this. He did realize that. He's here. And then does Derp see this? Oh, my God. Where did the Knights even go for Derp? I'm dizzy. Oh, they're here. Oh, God. This is so bad for Beery, then. This is a disaster for Beery. He's lost so much eco. And I think he's going to lose all these villagers. Or is he? Is he actually? I don't know. Hillforts! Let's go! That's actually amazing. I think the TCs will have 9 range, which means they outrange Cav Archers. And he's also getting ballistics. Dang, that's ridiculous. Castle will go up, though, in a very important area, because it denies this gold and denies this stone, which leaves these golds accessible for Derp. There's Hillfort for you, by the way. You actually cannot raid with Cav Archers anymore with all these TCs. This is a crazy game. Okay, so now we're going to start to see skirmishers come out from Derp, who has killed 39 villagers. Did I say this game was going to be good or what, guys? Also, these games tend to like really fry your brain a little bit. It just becomes very awkward to focus on certain things, like getting your villagers back to work, like normal game flow stuff. Derp will kill more villagers over here. Beery noticed, and then, yeah, he's heading back towards the TC, but he's also going to try and drop a castle here, which he will actually complete, funnily enough, because the elite skirm isn't in yet, and these other ranges got denied. Cav archers and pikemen defend on this side very nicely. This finally gets... Oh, God, there's just so many vills getting picked off. Oh, my God. But yeah, it's slowly going to get dealt with. And the bigger question in my mind for Derp... Are you kidding me, dude? He's about to go to TC number 9. Well, we have Hillfort's T90, so it makes a lot of sense. Might as well take it to double-digit TCs here if you're Derp. But, like, my mind is what happens with your food and wood eco. Like, I actually don't think he's going to be able to afford that many skirms if he's producing vills out of this many TCs and whatever else. This is crazy. We have more on food right now for Beery than we do Derp. This game is insane. This is one of the best games we've seen in Silver. This is a treat. Expanding farming eco, which is good looking. I like it. Cav archers here have to run away. Tarkin hype, by the way. There's a couple Tarkins in the castle. I feel like it's going to reach a point, though, where Derp can't realistically counterattack, because there's going to be pikemen, monks, and cav archers at home. There's going to be enough of them anyways. Ranges are going to be rammed down. Also, another castle could eventually come up as we see, oh, side buildings here from Derp. I love that. These players are so good, man. These guys are playing out of their minds right now. And just as I talk about the food eco for Derp, suddenly his numbers get a lot higher, right? You can see how much easier it is to go in with knights, because knights you don't have to pay attention to as much. And they have a lot more possibilities for damage in low numbers. And that's precisely what we've seen with a couple of these random knights. Like, that's intentional there. Him clicking that knight that way is intentional because he knows there's other things happening. We'll see if the Rams ever move in from Beery, who does see this, I'm sure. And Pikeman goes that way, too. 49 on food for Derp. His food eco is flying. He needs to get up to Imp, I think. All right, so here's the Cav archers, right? And Derp has vision because of outposts. Let's see. Now, he will take losses. But he's moved forward with the skirms, too. Oh, that could be the killing blow. Oh, but the relics are right there, too! Ah! Okay, we haven't seen Hillforts yet. Derp's definitely trying to think about Imp here. Castle now from Beery, which should be denied. Oh, boy. Oh, boy, that castle needs to go up. Feels like it, right? Feels like you need some of your own knights now if you're Beery to complete that castle. At least he converted one. Still no reaction here. Tarkins were raiding in the back. They're running back to the castle. TC's going to be rammed down. Villagers are getting picked off here. This is insane. Absolutely insane. I think maybe now the castle can complete. Imp is obviously a really big deal here. Like, Imp is going to change a lot. But I've just noticed that Derp doesn't actually have any gold miners. That would be the villagers in this TC which aren't working. And which is his Imp TC? Okay, so that should be fine. We'll see if he has army when he makes it to the next age, though, because the knights that he donated to his opponent are going to kill these skirms. And, I mean, this is a pretty big army of Cav archers and Tarkins. And now there's no relics, too, so your knights don't actually have any attack upgrades. What? This is insane! This is a ridiculous game. I would snag those relics, though. Like, I don't know. I guess maybe you don't want them here because your opponent could get it back with Trebs. But I would try and get those relics away from Derp. 170 pop for Beery. He's just got so much mining capabilities, right? And he should be forcing fights. It's just very hard. The Knights are still going to be stronger than the Tarkins. It's just the skirm, the lack of skirms as we see another TC for Derp is the main issue, right? He does have 35 on gold now, so that's been fixed. That's not too bad. And we might see 200 pop Castle Age here from the Argentinian, who will be happy to clear out Knights. Yeah, this is a fight that he'll take every single day. So it's a good thing that Derp made so many TCs, I guess. Ridiculous, guys. Ridiculous game. New Monastery, obviously, for Derp. He's got to be careful about his castle. And, like, what does he gain from Imp? Probably Bracer on Skirms? Yeah, Bracer on Skirms in the TCs. That's not a great thing to gain in Imp. These castles, the longer they stay up, the better. And we'll see if there's any potential for any, like, raids down here. As Derp is now housed, actually, due to these raids. And we're still looking to see how the skirm number is going to look for him. He's got 11 skirms. That's all he's gained from Imp is the skirms. But actually, the Tarkans are all gone. And we're going to see the Lycav decision here for Beery as he falls back to the castle. It's a good decision, obviously. Fall back to your castle. He really needs to raid on the other side, which he now sees. The resources should be flying right now for Beery because his eco's untouched. And so he's kind of in a position where anytime Derp goes one direction, he should go the other. So right now he's going to see this. Hillfort's is insane tech here. But he's going to try and force an army to come this way. And if he doesn't see an army here, he's going to go in for it. He's going to attack. I don't know exactly where the stables are right now. But there's army out there for Beery. If he could get it together, I could see a world where Castle Age could do this. The main thing I'm worried about is can he actually deal with 14 knights with armor and relics, though. We'll see if those relics actually come in. Derp currently is housed, so he can't make the monk. He is chasing that army down, though. Okay, so Beery needs to kill these knights. Like, killing these knights is the most important thing in the game for him right now. It's more important than any raids. It's more important than anything against the skirms. Killing knights with imp armor is going to be a tricky task. And you can see how problematic this is for him right now. As he also is going to try and take this here. He's going to move in. He's going to still be a threat. Has this gold over here. The knights. Sorry, I looked away from them because there's so many other things we need to point out. But the knights are dominating. We've got Skirm Knight, Skirm Knight, Skirm Knight is the play here for Derp, who's in Imp and has a villager lead. Could have the relic lead. But those relics are now going into the monastery from Beery. This is insane. This game is amazing. Derp's at 190 pop, which puts him ahead of Beery, which should mean he's pushing out across the map as he's got Cavalier now. And remember, guys, he's got gold, right? This is the last of his gold, but he's got gold. Can a Castle Age player defend from Cavalier with Imp armor? It's going to be so tricky for Beery. And he also still needs to pose some type of a threat, otherwise he's going to get trebbed down. Man, is that an important castle, though? Like, protecting that gold is so nice. Oh, man, there's just still so much damage being done by these knights. And the population for Derp isn't dropping either. He's got his trebs now, guys. He's ready. He's been so patient. So now we can start to push back this corner. And we do have Imp for Beery, which is actually one thing I missed throughout all this craziness. Now, these villagers, they're going to die. That hurts. You need those vills. 115 vills is not enough. Yet another example of how quickly things can get out of hand against night raids. I think if you're Derp, you should definitely tech into trash units, because if you don't push this back easily, you could run out of gold. I mean, he probably is going to take it easily, but it's just something that should be in the back of your mind as he gets that relic. This is sick. Also, he sees most of the map. He's split up in so many different areas. Not the first time we've said that, and he's probably going to prep trebuchets to go after this castle immediately. Just another example of him being aware of exactly where he needs to be. The relics are right behind here. Both players are 7 minutes, or past 7 minutes of idle eco time. This is one of the best games I've seen in Titans League Silver so far. It's been a treat. But I'm noticing a problem for Beery. He doesn't have an army comp that he's sticking to, that he believes in, right? Just a little bit of everything, it seems like. If he could keep the castles up there, if he could stick around here a little bit longer, things would obviously be good. And the trebs are now being packed up by Derp. Derp could lose some cav there. He could lose his trebs here. Obviously, on this side, though, he's going to be trying to make trebs. Derp is actually overboomed, guys. 150 villagers. I just noticed that. Still more Tarkans from Beery. He's going to have Imp Armor now, but, I mean, I don't know. Maybe he feels like because he can deny the golds that this is going to be worth it. He'll still hold on to those relics. It's going to be expensive for his opponent to make Trebs. He gets all 3 of those Trebs. And now he's going to fall back to his hill. No Halberdier upgrade for him, but does have pikemen patrolling around. Here, he's going for a couple conversions, and he's got some cav archers, and he's got a castle, and he's got a hill. But his population is so low now. It's 90 villagers and 40 army. Whereas it's 150 villagers and 30 army or 40 army for Derp. And Derp's still got gold. He still is the relic. But can he stop this trap? Can he stop this pushback in this corner? It looks like he can. He's ready for it. Dude, there's just like random teal dots everywhere. And orange dots as well. Oh my goodness. Great snipe there though from Derp. The most impressive thing for me about Derp's game is his eco. We kind of laughed at the amount of town centers that he had, but I feel like the guy's always placing farms, which is something that you can attribute to some of the best players who are in the top 10 and top 15 as well. Like, sure, they can be under pressure. He might even question why are they, not mixing in this unit or that unit, but their eco is just insane all the time. And yeah, like, he's also is finding his opponent's eco all the time too. Derp's a maniac. And I think he's just a couple moments away from winning the game as well, honestly, because he should be able to snipe this. Like, that's what I'm thinking. With this economy, these Trebs should go down. And it's just such a big problem for Beery to keep his eco even working. Hasn't realized he's losing those villagers. You can tell the mass is being prepared to push this area back once and for all. It just all comes down to swinging into this right side, taking out the Trebs. And that'll happen in a moment. And then you take the left side, and then that game's over. I mean, you could even bring the Trebs forward to take the main base of Beery at this point. It's wide open. Ridiculous game. Really fun stuff. But probably one of the first legitimate moments in a competitive game where I've seen Hillforts really make a difference. And he didn't mess around with that either. Castle went up, he researched Hillforts, and he also dropped tons of town centers. And I think you could make arguments that if he didn't drop the town centers, the cav archer raids would have caught up with him, and that he might not have had this much economy. Also, this Tarkin's killed like 12 villagers. The fact that they don't make noise when they attack, which, please devs, fix it. But the fact they don't thump anymore actually helping Beery there. And now we have another unique tech, Tower Shields. That just makes the skirms and the halbs stronger. You missed it. Halb was already teched into. And that's our game 1 in this series. So if you end up seeing this on the main channel of YouTube, this is actually a full series. Winner here moves on out of the Silver bracket into Gold League in Titans League Season 2, which starts in January, February. I'll have more information about that. But yeah, buckle up because this series should be insane. What a great game, though. I'm really curious on Derp's APM. Like, it's got to be nuts. Yeah, like Army APM average of 90. I mentioned his APM at the start of the commentary too. I think, I don't know how people achieve these numbers on a consistent basis because there's only so much you can do in Dark Age. It's probably just like how many times they click and, some people are a little wild with it, but he's one of the fastest players you'll see in Silver. 82,000 resources collected. But like, Hillforts was such a great play. That was so cool to see. Instant Hillforts, Ballistics, Bodkin Arrow, and then suddenly Beery's Cav Archers just had nowhere to go. That and the raids and his farming eco won him this game. Impressive stuff. But the big question I had over Beery was not necessarily his strategy, but it was also like, what civs is he going to play as? Other people play Huns on this all the time, but like peak Lithuanians, they can just do more than a lot of other civilizations on this map. I'm trying to find the conversions. 12 it was for Beery. Whew, man. I mean, I feel like if we find random units even now, we're going to see a lot of villager kills. That's 14. It's 2, 1. That's not so random. What about this guy? 3. I guess some of the units had died recently, but there were just a couple leftover units just sitting around the map. You could tell it's intentional that he splits them up because he just clicks them to different areas of the TCs. 9 hours of idle time for both players, like villager idle time. It's just a crazy stat that happens in these types of games. Thanks again, everybody, for watching this cast. If you didn't hear in the video, this is actually part of a full series. And what I typically do is I have the best individual games go to the YouTube channel. That way, you know, if this video goes up, it's going to be a banger. And then the full series I will have on my second YouTube channel, which is called T90 Extras. We make it really simple for you, though. Anytime I do this, in the description, there's a link that you can click if you want the full thing. So, once again, if you want the full thing, check the link in the description, and I'll see you over there. Thanks for watching, guys.